Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Police investigating the £600,000 missing from the SNP's finances have, of course, discovered some rather dodgy purchases. We all know about the motorhome, and whilst nobody believes what they claim about it, it is at least plausible. Yes, you could argue that it was used for party business because of the lockdown. People needed to travel around the country, hotels were difficult to get into, etc. Now, like I say, nobody really believes that, but at least there's a veneer of plausibility about it. Although why it was parked at Murrell's mother's house for all that time, nobody can really explain. But other purchases have come to light. Now, I have mentioned in the past the jewellery, and there's no reason for a political party to buy jewellery. No matter how many diamonds and rubies and pearls you buy, you can drape them all over Nicola Sturgeon. She still won't look good. So the jewellery is definitely a questionable item. But as the police have probed deeper, they've found more and more items, all of which are very questionable. And now some of them are downright suspicious, verging on the criminal. Now, it's not actually illegal to have bought these things, but the sort of people who do buy them tend to be involved generally in rather nefarious affairs. So we'll have a look at some of the things they're purchasing and ask, why is a political party wasting its members' money on things like this? And honestly, some of the things makes your head scratch. So here goes. So, SNP burner phones being investigated by police. Police investigating the SNP finances are examining a wide range of party purchases. These include luxury pens, jewellery, and even a fridge freezer. Now, we've mentioned, as I say, the jewellery before. Why would they be buying this jewellery? There's no reason, unless it's being bought as gifts, as bribes, anything like that, or a way of sort of parking money. But jewellery is not a very good way of parking money because it actually costs a lot more than it's worth. If you're parking money like that, you tend to buy like gold coins or bullion, something like that, a way of sort of turning cash into a physical object that retains its value. Or property is another way of doing it. But so it seems that this is just like gifts, backhanders, a bit of backsheesh, that kind of thing. It's how it appears. I'm not saying it is, of course. I daren't say it is, but it is how it appears. So anyway, police investigating the SNP's finances are searching for burner mobile phone SIM cards and examining party purchases, including a fridge freezer. It has been reported ahead of Hamza Yousaf's first meeting with Rishi Sunak. Now, burner phones. We all know who use burner phones. Dealers, criminals. They're the sort of people who don't want to be tied down to any device that may incriminate them. And so any party using burner phones instantly becomes suspect. And despite what the deputy leader said yesterday about the SNP being open and transparent and the most trustworthy of parties in government, that all starts to unravel when you realise at the top that they were all using phones that they could discreetly get rid of to make sure there was no trail leading to them. What was being discussed? What messages were being passed around on these phones? It's no wonder people think the SNP are incredibly dodgy. And I have mentioned before about a certain thing I've heard, which I still can't tell you, and it's really frustrating. But the burner phones probably add a little bit of substance to that story. I just cannot wait for somebody to leak that story, to get that story out, because I am not going to be the one that first leaks it, because it would be very dangerous for me in terms of being sued, etc. So I'm not going to do it. But the burner phones will add some substance to that story once it comes out. Anyway, detectives were understood to be looking for information from the SIM cards, including any text messages and voice recordings. So-called burner phones are cheap, prepaid devices that users can discard or destroy when no longer required if they want to maintain privacy. But surely the SNP, the most open and transparent party in Scotland, according to its deputy leader, doesn't need to maintain privacy. Everything should be out in the open. After all, they're not doing anything wrong or illegal, are they? Are they? Are they? Who knows? The SIM cards can be removed and while still retaining the data. In addition, officers said to be examining the SNP's purchases of luxury pens, designer pots and pans, jewellery, and even a fridge freezer. Now, as I said, it could be argued, even though nobody believes it, it could be argued that the motorhome was a genuine purchase for party business. But luxury pens, I mean, £10 gets you a big box of Bic, you know? You don't need a luxury pen to get someone to sign on the line or put their X in a box. Designer pots and pans? Really? What's that for? To impress people who come to the SNP's kitchen in their headquarters? Because if the pots and pans aren't in that kitchen, then they're in someone else's, and they cease to be pots and pans for the use of the party, and they become gifts for someone else. Jewellery, as we've mentioned, but a fridge freezer? Again, if that fridge freezer is in their party HQ, you can agree that one. I would agree. If the police went into the party HQ and there was the actual fridge freezer that they've bought, fine. But if it's sitting in someone's house, it's a bribe or it's theft. And that means somebody needs to go to jail. Police Scotland have previously confiscated a luxury motorhome from outside the home of Nicola Sturgeon's 92-year-old mother-in-law in Dunfermline in Fife. That's a very weird way of saying it. Why say Nicola Sturgeon's mother-in-law? Why not say Peter Murrell's mother? It's a very, roundabout way of trying to attach blame to her. Anyway, that's journalism for you, isn't it? The developments emerged ahead of Mr Yousaf's first visit to London as First Minister on Monday, during which he will meet the Prime Minister, effectively the man who has the power to end this devolution in Scotland and put an end to the corruption and waste and damage caused by the SNP. It's got to be on the table. It really does. The new SNP leader is also expected to hold talks with Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, and ambassadors to the UK, including from those from Germany and Ukraine. However, his visit risks being overshadowed by the police investigation into his party. Since July 2021, the force has been examining the SNP's handling of more than $600,000 in donations raised in 2017 for second independent referendum. Supporters made complaints, and I did do the video yesterday about the complaints and the way the police handle those complaints. First of all, ignoring them, and then secondly, going around and trying to intimidate witnesses into keeping their mouths shut and to withdraw their complaints, because the police are obviously in the pocket of the SNP. But anyway, supporters made complaints when accounts lodged with the company's house in 2020 appeared to show the SNP only had $97,000 in the bank, despite the referendum never having been held. Peter Murrell, who's Sturgeon's husband and was the SNP chief exec for more than 2 decades before he quit last month, was arrested on April 5th, and the home he shares with her was raided by police, which we've covered many times. Also, Colin Beattie also covered that, and both were released without charge, pending further investigation. The 3 registered officers for the SNP listed on the front of its most recent accounts submitted to the Electoral Commission were Mr Murrell, Mr Beattie and Miss Sturgeon, prompting speculation she could be arrested next. However, it is understood she has not been interviewed, and that in itself is very, very surprising, questionable and suspicious. The police should have picked her up. In fact, the police should have picked all 3 of them up at once, and the fact that they haven't, and the fact of taking so long, indicates the police are deliberately giving them time to hide evidence, to destroy evidence, and to get their story straight, so that eventually the investigation will be seen as flawed and no charges can be brought. I think that is definitely what is happening. In which case, they need to investigate the police and start putting senior officers in prison for perversion of justice. First Minister Humza Yousaf has previously admitted he has seen a list of items that the police have either seized or wanted to trace in their investigation. And a source with knowledge of the inquiry told the Sunday Mail something police are looking for is SIM cards used in unregistered mobile phones. They want to know the numbers connected with these cards, which could also contain numbers called and text messages. It is not uncommon for people to have unregistered mobile SIM cards which can be bought from any shop, and there's nothing wrong with having so-called burner phones, but police want a record of these phones in the SNP. There's nothing illegal about these phones, no, but the fact is that the very fact that they own them is suspicious. What have they got to hide? Because we all know the people, the level of the sort of people that tend to use phones that are disposable and hideable. They're criminals. Another insight said there is an extensive list of items that the police are interested in, which will probably be surprising some people. It's mostly high-value items, expensive pens, pots, pans, jewellery, but also a fridge freezer. This is a very extensive inquiry, and is clearly absolutely no stone is being left unturned. Keith Brown, the SNP's deputy leader, refused to comment on the report about burner phone SIM cards and purchases when challenged about them on BBC Scotland's Sunday show. He said, "I don't know who the SNP cops are or the SNP fraud cops. I don't know who these people are talking about. He said, I'm not going to refer to an ongoing live police inquiry, and I'm very surprised at the extent to which it is discussed, because it can prejudice the outcome of that inquiry. But he's the man who says that the SNP is the most open and honest party in Britain. So let him be open and honest and answer some damn questions. Craig Hoy, the Scottish Tory chairman, said, this latest bizarre twist only adds to the stench of secrecy surrounding the SNP finances scandal. It is crucial that the SNP cooperates fully with the police investigation and gives the public the answers they deserve to questions that remain unanswered and will remain unanswered. They're never going to open up. They're never going to tell the truth. They dare not tell the truth. He repeated his call for Mr Yousaf to suspend SNP figures associated with the inquiry, including Miss Sturgeon. The First Minister has refused, saying they are innocent until proven guilty. And yet, strangely, other people who have been involved in inquiries have been suspended pending the results. So what is stopping him doing this? They're not throwing them out of the party, they're just suspending them until it is, the inquiries are done. Jackie Bailey, Scottish Labour Deputy Leader, said, these details raise deeply worrying questions about practices at the heart of the SNP. Police Scotland declined to comment, while an SNP spokesman said, we have no comment on a live police investigation. That's very handy for them. They don't want to comment because they know there's nothing they could say that wouldn't be used in court against them. It stinks. Burner phones? Really? What are they doing? What are they hiding that they need burner phones to make sure that nobody knows what they've said or done? Anyone who cannot acknowledge that the SNP now is basically a criminal organisation is either a foaming at the mouth, rabidly zealous supporter who cannot see, refuses to see the downside, or they're a moron, or they're involved in the criminality. There's no other choices, and that's basically it. From the outside, we can all see how suspicious this looks, how criminal they all appear, regardless of whether they are or not. They appear. They have that appearance of criminality, of cover-up, of secrecy. It's a stinking mire of awfulness. And there he is, the man at the heart of this, who undoubtedly knows far, far more than he's telling, and far more than I bet he's ever told the police. Anyway, I shall round off and come up. Each day, more and more comes out about this party. More and more is revealed about the goings-on behind the scenes. And no matter how many times their supporters or their senior officials claim that the party is being open, transparent and honest, each day that is being shown to be a lie. This party is anything but open, transparent and honest. They hide everything. Everything's shrouded in secrecy, in shame, I think. They know that what they do and what they say must never come out. Never. They'll go to great lengths to stop the truth being revealed. They've undoubtedly got the police in their pocket. This investigation has dragged on so long and has been so badly run and managed that somebody needs to lose their job. Somebody high. I think the Chief Constable, maybe the Assistant Chief Constable, whatever. Several very, very high members of Police Scotland need to be investigated, to lose their job and to lose their pensions if it's been shown that they have deliberately nobbled this inquiry to protect these three potential crooks. I have to be careful what I say. But it just stinks from top to bottom. This party is riddled with criminality, with division, with secrecy, and with utterly abhorrent practices. There's far more to come out. Oh God, there is much more to come out about this. They must be quaking in their boots. And the fact that Sturgeon has not yet had an interview with the police under caution, that alone indicates that there must be a conspiracy. I shall stop now. Thank you very much for listening. If you've got to the end, well done to you. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. Definitely leave a like, that's the one that really helps. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't buy any dodgy jewellery from the SNP, and goodbye.